Welcome to this edition of Inside Legal ESG. We are so honored and privileged to have with us today Inigo Cisneros, a partner at the law firm of Roca Junyent in Madrid, Spain. Inigo and I have known each other for almost 3 years now, and it's been interesting to follow Roca Junyent's ESG journey, as well as the ESG work they're doing for clients. Inigo has spent most of his career as Director of Legal Counsel for large multinationals in the energy and communications sector and in the ESG sustainability space. Inigo, welcome to Inside Legal ESG podcast, and thank you for your time in chatting with me today.
Hello, Pam. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this fantastic chat that is very interesting, and we are a bunch of followers of these so many interesting ESG issues.
Oh, that's good to hear. And it's also very good to see you again. And I'm really looking forward to this discussion. So let's start with, tell us a little bit about your role at Roca Junyent and the type of work you do for clients.
Okay. I am one of the partners of the firm of Roca Junyent. I am in charge of the energy and sustainability department. My clients actually are mainly companies in the renewable energy sector. And among my clients, that include companies in the photovoltaic sector, the biogas, one of the largest distributions, the electricity distributors in Spain market, and also a company in the smart grids industry, which are essential to achieve the decarbonization objectives set in the Paris Agreement of 2015. In addition to the above, in the ESG area, I help my clients and the clients of the rest of my partners and the firm to implement sustainability in their business strategy.
So with that type of client base, clearly you're probably seeing interest from those clients in ESG and how your firm can help them. What kind of needs is your firm helping your clients with?
What we see among our clients is that for the moment, only those clients that are legally required to report on sustainability are doing so. Some companies that do not fall within that threshold of mandatory reporting are starting to consider sustainability issues primarily for two reasons. First, because they are asked to do so by their banks or their financing entities when obtaining financing to run their business. Mm-hmm. And second, because they are asked to do so by their end customers, who in turn are required to report on what their supply chain is doing in this regard, including the scope 3 in the footprint calculation.
And so that brings up an interesting question. As a supplier to your clients, is Roca Junyent feeling that those expectations from your clients?
Yes, at Roca Junyent, we are fortunate to have a broad client base that allow us to acquire a good experience in ESG issues. Those clients that are large companies with reporting obligation normally consult us on specific issues that allow us to evolve deeper into their study. Clients without reporting obligation allow us to help them design their sustainability roadmap with the objective of when, according to the standard, they have reporting obligations. In addition to the above, we are very active in ESG associations in Spain at the European level as well. We normally be part of seminars, we teaching courses at universities, to learn about the doctrinal development of ESG issues at the European level.
And do you have a specific ESG practice group at Roca Junyent? And if you do, what type of lawyers are included in that practice group?
We do. At Roca Junyent, we have a sustainability committee that is made up of for 4 members. 2 members are members of the board, are managers, including one of those 2 is our executive chairman. And the third one is the general manager of the firm that is not a lawyer. And the third one is myself.
Mm-hmm.
This sustainability committee is in turn divided in 2 commissions. We have the SDG commission that is configured as the working group in charge of managing the corporate sustainability and the SDGs. Its main objective is to establish the roadmap of this SDG strategy that we can talk a little more afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another commission that we call the ESG commission that intends to transfer the strategic decisions of the board in terms of sustainability to business, and in turn to respond to the need of the rest of the service areas for new legal knowledge. Regarding which people are involved in those commissions, we are really we have involved most of the people in the law firm.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding our SDG commission, we have identified 7 SDGs as the prioritized SDGs for the law firm. So each of those 7 SDGs has a work group, a group of work led by 3 members of the law firm, not only lawyers, but also the rest of the administrative team. And besides that, the non-prioritized SDGs, that is the other 10 SDGs,
Mm-hmm.
those are divided in 2 groups. One is called planet and the other is called people. And those 2 are led by 4 persons, each of them. So at the end of the day, we have 29 people involved in the SDG commission. And in the ESG commission is mainly formed by partners. And we are 15 partners involved in a ESG commission. And we met every 15 days to take a look about the new legislative development and to how we can develop new products to reach our final clients.
Wow, that is very impressive at how involved and how inclusive these efforts are throughout your firm. And for the listeners who may not be familiar with SDGs, that is an acronym for Sustainable Development Goals. There's 17 Sustainable Development Goals laid out by the United Nations. And it sounds like Roca Junyent has prioritized working on 7 of them. How did you choose those priorities? Was it a collective effort, or the board made the decision on which 7 would be priorities?
We made an internal effort, and sorry for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some external help from consultants
Mm-hmm.
to see under our scope of business which of the 17 should be respond in a better way how we develop the business. So after we made that think with external consultants, the sustainable committee made up a proposal, and the board take the decision that why we prioritize those 7 SDGs among the 17.
I think it's really important that you prioritized based on the scope of the business and your highest and best skills in the work you're doing for clients, because that that is the right way to do it so that your ESG efforts are strategic to the business, not a side project or only operational to your firm. This is very clearly embedded in your expertise and your highest and best skills, which is great.
Mm-hmm. They're right.
Yeah, what kind of expectations from your clients about Roca Junyent's own ESG program are you seeing? Like, for instance, some clients are asking their law firms to fill out an EcoVadis assessment or to respond to RFP questions very specific about your own environmental, social, and governance practices. Are you seeing that at Roca Junyent?
Yes, we are suffering that, not seeing. We are suffering. But the fact, the reality is that Roca Junyent up to now is more a middle market law firm. So we don't have so many big companies as a client. So of course, our goal is to get there and to get as big companies as possible as clients. But from our big clients, those that are legally obliged to report about their ESG practices, we are suffering all these, let's say, due diligence regarding our sustainability way and our sustainability commitments. In the middle market, still there is nothing regarding that. They are not asking for our due diligence. But I think all of this is very much, at least regarding European companies, the due diligence project on suppliers. There is that draft directive that is on in the European Parliament since 2022.
And I think you jokingly say you're suffering these sorts of questions, but it seems to me that you're in a pretty good position to have answers because you are working on this. And, you know, there are many, many law firms who haven't yet started working on this. So the fact that you have a committee and you have a SDG commission and an ESG commission working on these various elements certainly allows you to have responses when the clients ask these types of questions.
Yeah, so just of course, but some of those questionnaires, we just mentioned a couple of them. Some of them, they go some of the questions so deep that from a law firm, we are not taking care of that. There are some questions regarding circular economy and so many details regarding your footprint that we are not there yet. Our idea is to get there, but you know, to have all these sustainability data, there is a tremendous effort, not only in man hours, but as well in investment.
Yes, yes. The data is going to be one of the challenges because, to your point, it not only takes manpower to collect and manage all that data, but you also have to make investments in the technology that collects and manages all that data.
That's right, yeah.
So you've touched on this briefly. What impact are the EU regulations having on your clients and in turn your own firm?
I think it's brutal.
Yeah.
I believe that the EU has been, well, all the politician of the EU has been excessively ambitious. And that has generated an embarrassment due to the excess of law that have been promulgated and that are in the preparation. There is a web page of the European Parliament that is called the Legislative Train. And if you have the opportunity to see that web page, it is an enormous quantity of laws regarding sustainability that is difficult to digest in so little time. For instance, no? If we take as an example the green taxonomy, and I think the Commission has realized that it is not that easy to understand how to apply the green taxonomy to the sustainable business that they are, I think every single month they are publishing many articles, examples, model annexes to clarify the methods of application, because as it turns out from the law, is quite complicated.
And not only are lawyers trying to figure this out, but all of your clients are trying to figure it out as well, right? Understanding what regulations they have to comply with, and actually what does compliance mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, what we are learning from the big clients is that they are trying to do this effort in-house, because there is no much, let's say, knowledge outside how to apply them, because we are still waiting, and we are like everyone has her own or his own criteria when applying the new legislation, and that is something that in some point should converge in a common point, and it is something that I think we are everyone expecting to reach that conversion point in no so late.
Well, let's hope so, because in the meantime, it almost adds to the confusion rather than helps clarify it, right? Are you seeing examples of or tendencies towards, the term that's being used is greenwashing? In other words, making a company look better than on the sustainability front than the behavior would actually justify?
I personally did not see any examples of greenwashing, but one of the issues, going back to the previous question and something that we already mentioned, is the origin of the data.
Yes.
It's not that easy to get that data, and when some people they are focusing in get the calculation of their greenhouse gas emissions, and they want to properly include the scope 3, it is quite difficult to get the scope 3. So most of these people is trying to make estimations, and sometimes those estimations, I won't call them greenwashing, but to a certain point they say, well, let's estimate that this should be this on that. And this is a point where I don't know if we can call it this is a greenwashing, but really those estimation doesn't last a clear exam of where those data belong. So I think that is the point. But up to now, I didn't see clearly someone that is doing greenwashing just for, let's say, marketing purposes.
So you've been working in this space for a while. What gives you hope?
Well, I think that we are in the right way, but this is a tremendous change. My thing is that the tremendous change is due to the sustainability from a financial point of view. How we are just making so tremendous change in the financial sector, and how we are asking the final investors to make their investment not only based on the rentability, to get more money, to be more to get more money from their investments, but as well that when they are getting these dividends from their investments, as well to take care of the planet and of the people. And this is the real game changer. So my hope is that I see in the normal day-to-day, in normal people, that people is starting, when you see people in the supermarkets, to read the instructions, or where this product was made, or what is the composition of the product they are gonna buy. So this is here, and it's going to change, but it's gonna take time, because unless we made it legally obliged for most of the company, small companies still they are looking for that as a very long obligation.
Yeah, I completely agree. So given that Roca Junyent is already on its own ESG journey, what advice would you give to other law firms who are just getting started?
Well, my advice will be that they should start as soon as possible with an ESG plan for the firm. And starting with that advice, it does not need to be very ambitious. I think that almost any single law firm or any single company that I visited, they do have some sustainability practices. So it's just to write it down in a piece of paper and say, well, we are doing something already, and nobody obliged us to do so. So writing down what they are doing. The second part is think about the materiality, not only the two ways of the materiality, where we impact the society and how the society impact us as our products or our services. And if I have to say what is the first step, I will make the first investment in the calculation of the carbon footprint, because with that data, you can start thinking about how we can reduce our carbon footprint, how can we, if we need to compensate, it makes sense to compensate, or how to work on that data. I think, as we both mentioned before, to have good data is very important to put the line where you want to go regarding sustainability issues.
I completely agree. And I think that baseline greenhouse gas emissions calculation is important, not only so that you can measure progress, but also because your clients who are required to report are going to need that, because law firms are part of their scope 3 metrics. So they're going to ask you what your greenhouse gas emissions are. And it would be really nice if you had an answer because it's going to be required before too long.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
So if I'm brave enough to ask you to come back in a year and talk to me again on this podcast, what do you think will have changed?
I think 2023 is going to be a very interesting year for the ESG metrics in Europe, because we have our new directive that they have several years to be applied to the different entities. We have it goes until 2028. But the important point here is the impact of the European sustainability reporting standards. We have a draft. We are expecting to have the final document for this summer, and we have to see if this European standard is really going to be that turning point that everyone is expecting, that our sustainability reports are going to be starting to be comparable. So all the industry, not only the financial industry, but the rest of the industries and the business areas, they have a comparable point to see how people and companies are performing regarding sustainability. So I think that in a year time, we will see how this European standard is gonna go to get that goal, to reach that comparable data that will be used by all the industries. And in small companies, I think that the pressure to start doing anything about sustainability must be addressed regarding the greenhouse emissions, because the financial entities are asking to do so. In Spain, we have what we call Ley de Cambio Climático, that is a climate change law. There is a law from 2021, May 2021. And in that law, in the section 32, they mention that the companies who are obliged to report the non-financial information in a 2 years' time in the publication of the law, that means May 2023, that is next month, there will be a new development of that law, obliging those entities to disclose information about the impact of the climate change. And regarding, there are several issues that you have to report, but one of the issues that you have to report is the greenhouse gas emissions. So in order to have a clear reporting of your greenhouse gas emissions, as we mentioned before, and being an entity, you have to take in consideration your scope 3. And in your scope 3 are all your providers. And in those providers are many small companies. So when those companies will have to, maybe this first year, no, because they will maybe they will do an estimation of the scope 3, but as those companies will have the target to reduce their emissions for the oncoming years, they will have to work on that data. And on that data is the scope 3 that will oblige the supply chain to work on those greenhouse emission data.
And, you know, I think we're in a similar position in the US. We're waiting for the Security and Exchange Commission to issue their disclosure requirements. And there's some debate whether the final rules or the final regulations will include scope 3. But even if they don't include scope 3 immediately, I think they will eventually. And to your point earlier, even if a company isn't required to disclose or report by regulations, they are being expected to disclose and report from a variety of their stakeholders. So I think if we talk in a year from now, we're going to see big changes because of regulations in both the EU and the US with respect to reporting, which I think will be a good thing. It will force behavior.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we should work, Pam, in doing a comparable work of those reporting obligations from the US and the EU, just to facilitate to businessmen from both sides of the Atlantic Ocean how to report those, as those companies will be based in both sides of the ocean, how to report the same activity in the both parts of the world.
I love that idea. And as soon as the SEC issues its regulations, let's get in touch and we'll figure out how to have a symposium about it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm afraid we are out of time, but I absolutely will be in touch so we can talk again in a year and perhaps actually do some sort of a learning workshop between now and then so we can better understand the regulations. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Pam. It's been a real pleasure. And see you, I think, to talk with you before a year with any of these learning points.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.